What's up, YouTube? Joffrey's live streams. I started this live a little earlier. I was going to make a community post talking about the earlierness of this live. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get things started. Let me just make sure the sound and stuff is good. I always test things out beforehand, but sometimes you have hiccups. So let's see what's going on and popping. Yep. So the audio seems to be good. I'm not gonna cam up tonight. I'm gonna just do everything behind the scenes. Hopefully, one day I can get some panelists to come back on. I'm in a different area. I do still have connections with some of the people that have been on this channel or have participated in this lives or on the lives or whatever discussions. But yeah, I guess people's schedules and stuff doesn't align. So yeah, I just took the initiative and I was like, I'm gonna do it on my own, you know. And this is a good way to do things too. People usually watch everything on the replay anyway. But yeah, anyway, I'm retouching on the subject that I did before, starting last month when there was a protest or a online campaign for a protest against African businesses. I don't see where it was a lot of traction that had went forth. Granted, where I live at now, it's not a lot of African peoples, so I don't encounter African business. I couldn't really just go up to a place and interview someone. But I know if I was still up in the Mid Atlantic region, I could do that more often or be more apt to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna reference TikTok for some of the stuff because a lot of this stuff, this beef and stuff, even though it has some realness to it, a lot of this stuff is for the internet, internet streets. But it's just unfortunate because it showed you how hateful people are. Even if they don't tell you to your face, um, they can be covert with their hatefulness. So yeah. All right, let me show y'all some stuff. I'm gonna show y'all this one lady. She wasn't going to participate in the protest. She explained why she wasn't. And I learned that TikTok has some longer form content videos now that they're pushing out, allowing content creators to push out. So that's nice. But anyway, just 1 second. All right, so you guys, I'm gonna let this lady talk and give her a spill. And yeah, all right.
Most importantly, personally, I will not be boycotting all African businesses. I will not be participating in that boycott. I personally do not see the sense in it.
And then, as you guys know, this is a new month. So I'm just giving context of what has happened because it's still been a lot of other things that has occurred within the month. So yeah, I'm playing this in context because this was recorded, I believe, before the month of August. So yeah, just listen to her, and yeah, she gives a really good explanation, in my opinion.
And let me tell you why. All right, so when the situation first hit my timeline and first hit my For You page, I needed all the details. I needed to figure out what exactly is going on. Why is there being a massive notification being pushed out to boycott all African businesses? Like, what's tea? And then after actually doing the research and figuring out what was going on, you mean to tell me that one customer, African American woman, sorry, a Black woman, right? Just so happened to receive bad customer service from a service provider who was a hair braider that is of African descent, right? And now decided because of that personal experience that she was going to basically ignite a mass nationwide boycott of all African businesses. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to any of you guys? In all honesty, one isolated situation, one isolated event that I'm not saying is not uncommon. We've all dealt with very money hungry service providers that do not care about quality. They do not care about customer service. We've all been there before, but you just don't go back to that particular person. You don't give money to that particular person. But to now enlist an entire boycott of all African businesses, do you know how many mouths you're going to be stopping from being able to get fed? Do you know how many bills you're going to now be helping pile up? A lot of small business owners, all because of one incident where you didn't feel respected by this particular service provider. And now you want us to basically boycott all service providers from this continent because it's not a country, it's a continent. You want us all to boycott every business that just so happens to be in connection to the continent of Africa. That makes sense? Because if that was the case, when that Chinese American shot and killed that Black girl, accusing her of stealing, and she wasn't stealing, there wouldn't be as many Asian businesses flourishing in America if y'all were all on that type of timing. If all it took was one isolated incident, right, for there to be a mass boycotting, Asians should not be the leading or the leaders in beauty store supply chains and whatnot. They shouldn't be number one. They shouldn't have as many nail shops. You understand? Do you know how many times I've actually gone online and booked to get my hair done by a Black American stylist and was so underwhelmed by the quality of customer service? When I'm talking about rude, y'all want deposits. We give the deposits. You guys complain about it too. So it's not a thing about ethnicity or nationality. It's just there are some shitty service providers out there that are literally just doing it for a check. And we know that. I would have been all for it if you stated, and I'm talking specifically to that customer who started this all. If you wanted to be like, do not come to this particular location, don't go there. They're X, Y, and Z. Yeah, go ahead, boycott them, because if they don't care about their customer service, they shouldn't be in customer service fields. They shouldn't be over here providing services if they fail in that area. You understand? But for you to take one isolated situation and now compare it to everybody else, that don't make no sense to me. And I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Especially when I'm not, you know what, fuck it. I'm just call it out how it is. We're not doing that to the others. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all not giving that same energy right now to the others. So let's not do it within our own diaspora. Okay? You received bad quality service from one individual. You don't go back to that individual. You do not try to elicit a nationwide boycott on everybody of one certain ethnicity, because you're now affecting a lot of the homes of those, like, for what? That don't make no sense. Off of one person? I'm sorry, miss me with that.
All right. So you seen that? You heard that? And yeah, let me make sure my volume is good because I did put the thing on mute. Yep. So we're here, but yeah, a lot of people they get. I don't understand what the thing is with a lot of people, especially. Um, well, it seems like it's an American phenomenon. It's the same thing with Hispanics. That people will call them Spanish. People that are from Latin America, they call them Spanish. Something like that. They're not even from Spain. And then how can one group be lumped up? Why would you group every a difference of cultures and countries as one whole group? And it's even more evident with Africa. Africa is not a country. It's composed of so many different countries, but it's not a country. It's a continent. It's the naming of a continent. So yeah, that lady made some really good points, in my opinion, because yeah, it was really ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I'm gonna uh, have some stuff to showcase what I played in the last video. Yeah, the last video. But yeah, it's ridiculous. And then the lady, it was one lady that had replied back to. She was from, I don't know what African country she was from, but they talked like she lost her job. She was just basically, it really wasn't threatening, but she was just saying you don't want to play the game with legal immigrants, and that she just basically gave her smoke. The lady, the other lady that was trying to get everybody to protest. It sort of reminds me of the Monique thing, um, when Netflix didn't give her that deal, and she wanted everybody to boycott Netflix on her behalf. And I'm like, who are you? But anyway, let me show you some more videos. No disclaimer. I always try to vet stuff, make sure it's not misinformation. But you can basically see that this is some BS right here. Uh, in my opinion, I think it's BS, but I'm gonna just show you guys anyway. It just goes to show you how people sensationalize stuff, and also just you know try to push a narrative, and that just creates further division.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This bitch cut my fucking hair off. Oh my god. She got all my hair. Oh my god. I I just went to fucking Queen Latifah's African fucking braiding in fucking Fayetteville, y'all. I cut my hair already. I cut it already. I just wanted her to take my I just wanted her to take my fucking braids out. This is where I cut my braids. The back of my hair. Because this is where the fuck my hair is. I cut my braids here because my hair is here. She's taking out my braids. I got my AirPods on. I'm in my fucking phone. I'm scrolling through TikTok. I'm looking because I'm not paying attention. Next thing I know, she's in front of my fucking head, and I'm like, she's cutting? Why is she fucking cutting my fucking hair? Why is she cutting my hair? She's cutting my fucking hair off. And then when I get up, I'm like, are you cutting my hair? She's like, no. Yes, the fuck you are.
I'm gonna show y'all the comments for that video. I think it was fake, but anyway, that's never here or there. But I'm gonna show you some of the comments from some of these people. Girl, you was told. Now we shaking our heads looking at you. And then here's another one. It says, "It happened to me, but we told you the boycott." Let me see. Sorry that happened to you. And yeah, how you gonna sue somebody for? How you sue somebody for them not doing your hair right? I mean, small claims court. And then here's another one. It says, "No shade here, but what's the authenticity in the story? I believe you when you took this video in the store. I will believe you when you took this video in the store when the when this really happened. With the clear evidence to support your claim, anybody can make a video in their car and say they were kissed by an alien. Disrespect. This young lady just didn't come. Just didn't get the August memo. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, so I'm gonna show y'all this guy. Now he's I think he's African and from some African country. And I'm catching myself because I'm doing the same thing, right? But anyway, he talks about similar to the wonderful sister up front that I showed before. He talks about like what's the point of doing all of this? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I mean, what is the point of doing all of this? Simply because of one person?
You guys make it hard, man. I try not to be petty, but you make it hard. So after elections, African Americans, you decided to take a step back. You'd done the heavy lifting. You'd carried the movement on your backs, and you figured it was time to see this one out. Let everybody else organize. Let others finally show up. And honestly, you deserved that rest. But now that you've decided to get back in the ring, your first move is to organize against Africans? Africans? With all the problems that we have, you put Africans at the top at the top with everything happening. This is where you draw the line. Braiding hair, braiding hair of all the urgent fights waiting to be picked: education, housing, Medicaid, tax policy. You chose to go after African braid shops because Essence Fest was sold and the culture vibe changed. That's it. That's it. Look, I understand the frustration of feeling erased, but attacking Africans for braiding hair, isn't it? You're not challenging power. You're shadowboxing your cousins. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, not to cut it short, which I'm gonna play the whole thing, but I just really like TikTok. I'm so glad that they didn't ban it because it's like a lot of stuff. It's not copyright, really. At least of right now. I haven't really read the terms of policy or policy terms of conditions or whatever it's called, an agreement. But I have to retouch on that. But I believe it's still like how it was before. You don't really have those copyright issues like how you would have with YouTube. But and you can see the content now is way longer than 30 seconds to a minute. So yeah, you got people posting whole videos out here now, long form.
Something as someone who tries. to build unity in this big fragmented black tent of ours. You have no idea how hard it is to get black folks to organize around solutions, but it never fails. When it's time to turn on each other, the organizing is swift, coordinated, and precise. It's impressive and devastating. And here's what you're forgetting: the enemy is watching. They're watching us broadcast exactly what triggers us. They're watching us create a public manual on how to divide us. They don't even have to try anymore. They're doing this. We are doing the surveillance and sabotage ourselves. And what are we broadcasting right now? Hair, festivals, braiding salons. Why are you wasting our time? Do you know how small that sounds compared to what's coming? In the next 5 years, due to tax cuts and deregulation, the black community is projected to lose over 200 million in generational wealth. Gone. And we're talking about braiding hair. Medicaid cuts alone will cost 15,000 black lives per year. 15,000 black lives are going to be lost per year. That's not a metaphor. That's your auntie, your uncle, your child. And we're talking about braiding hair. And you want me to join a boycott over who's braiding whose hair? Let me be clear. No African is losing sleep over your braids. Go read the comment section if you need proof. We're not plotting to steal your culture hairstyles. We're building salons to survive. We're hustling in your neighborhoods to make rent and pay school fees back home. You think we're sitting around bitter over hairstyle? Have you met Africans before? Listen to me. Go out to the streets and pick a real fight. Go out there in the streets and pick a real fight. You want a war? Fine. But don't waste your ammunition on your own family. Fight for healthcare. Fight for school lunch programs. Fight for the next redistricting map. Fight for that tenth of black wealth that's quietly being erased from beneath our feet. There are real fights out there. Nobody cares about braiding hair. Because here's the truth. The world is burning around us. And you guys are arguing over who gets to braid the ashes. Nobody cares about braiding hair. Let's move.
Nice words, brother. Nice words. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, what? It, it's I don't know. I just don't understand. Um, and I'm not simping for people from a different culture, but like, I haven't really had too many issues with people that are from the continent, for the most part. Uh, I've had some run-ins with some Nigerians, but nothing crazy. There are stereotypes for every culture, but it's just what is the hate for, and is there going to be any hope? You know, it's just I just don't know. But yeah, let's listen to some more TikToks. I bookmarked some of this stuff, so I thought this would be really good to talk about and showcase before I wrap it on up. And we're approaching 10 o'clock now, so this was the original timing of the live, but I decided to start a little early. Now, this brother right here, he's kind of divisive in my opinion here. If I recall, he talks about Black American delineation is happening and it's a must. So he's one of those guys that that'll probably call Africa, like Caribbeans, people from Africa, tethers. Tethers in short term is just basically people that are black, but they're not African American or Black Americans. That's what a tether is.
Move out. We are taking over. Go cry to master. Black Americans, I want y'all to understand why delineation is the best thing ever that we are doing. Essence Festival showed the world that we are delineating from these people. They can't get nothing popping in America without tethering on to us. They just can't. They can't do it. I'm sorry, they just can't do it. It's a reason why things are happening to them. It's a reason why, if y'all ever watch these deportation videos where Africans got to go back to their homeland, oh, they boo-hooing crying. They boo-hooing and crying. They do not want to go back. Don't let these people trick you into thinking like, hey, we Pan-Africanism. I'm going to get to that too. But hey, y'all should go back to Africa. It's beautiful out here. Da-da-da-da. We got culture and blah, 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 and all that. Why they not going back? They want to replace us here in America. They want to down talk America, but uplift Africa. But if you really think about it, ain't nothing popping in Africa. Y'all seen videos of Black Americans going out there trying to help. They getting unalived out there. They getting their land took out there. Ain't nothing positive to go out there. I've been there before. You land in Lagos in Nigeria or whatever. As soon as you get out there, it's a shakedown. It's a shakedown. You can't even just walk through the airport without 50 people begging you for money, begging you to pay this, pay that. You got even officers out there trying to scam you out of money. Why would you want to go there? How can we work with scammers like that? Huh? Why we want to work with people like this right here? Huh? I've been saying this since I've been on this app about these people. Not all my African brothers are like this and sisters are like this. But we got these over here that's like this over here right now, and they just wait. They just want us to leave, but they would never leave. They would never leave, and we ain't going nowhere. We don't flee. We never fled. My great grandparents never said America getting so bad. You know, Jim Crow. Oh my God, slavery. Oh my God, we getting hung from trees. I think we should run to Africa. My great grandparents never say we're gonna stay here and fight for what's ours. We don't blame the government for everything. We know what the government do. We're going to fight back against the government. We don't blame the leaders. We change the leaders. If the leaders ain't doing nothing, we're going to change them again. We ain't like these people, bro. They ain't got our spirit, man. They ain't got our spirit. That's why Essence failed. That's why anything they attach themselves to fail. Goes back to movies. Movies fail. When they try to play our icons, it failed. Look at the Harriet movie. Failed. You got an African playing Harriet Tubman. She wasn't even natural. Look at it. Yeah, but anyway, y'all have a good.
Oh, I forgot to have it on mute. I hope it wasn't a double audio. But yeah, I mean that was I don't know, man, or ladies and gentlemen, um, and don't come from my movie Harriet. I think Cynthia Erivo did a really great job. It wasn't until later that I found out that she was British, um, of African descent, like direct lineage from an African nation. I've forgotten the name of it. Yeah, but you have brothers like that he did give a scapegoat talking about like it's not all. But yeah, now there are some it's hate on both sides. I will say that it was hate on both sides, but you really see it on. It's probably just because of the circles that I've had amongst the years. You see a lot of hate coming from Black Americans towards other groups, in my opinion, my honest opinion. So that's anecdotal evidence on my behalf. But yeah, you guys will watch this on the replay, and I'm about to wrap it up. I know it wasn't too long, but I want to keep those people watching it to the end. Hopefully, this was kind of engaging. I want to keep doing subjects like this, and hopefully, I can get a panel of people again to talk about some more intense issues. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you like my content. If you like it, please like it, share it, and also you can subscribe. I'm trying to spam this algorithm. I got to make some more content for you guys. Try to get some lives out there. Use my StreamYard account. And yeah. All right. Y'all take care.